Supposed to be cleaning. Oh.
Oh gosh.
Oh, now we got a family. All right, so maybe we should do the intro again.
Okay. All right. You want me to clap or anything?
Yeah, it always helps.
Hey there, we are C'est La Vie 3. For those of you who are just new to our channel or are joining us, we are an American family of 3 who lived full-time in our RV.
Back in the United States.
Back in the United States, traveling, and just loved it so much. Got the opportunity to come over to Europe. So we, of course, jumped at the chance, and we are now traveling Southern Europe so far in our converted campervan.
So today we are going to talk to you guys about our very first trip here in Europe, specifically Gibraltar. So if you want to know more, stay tuned. We're living in Europe, specifically in Spain, for the course of this travel, and our van came here to Spain. So our very first instinct was, all right, let's go camping.
Yeah.
At the time, we were probably about a month and a half, 2 months in, and we were just like, I don't know, just it was overwhelming, like the culture shock for us getting here. And one of the recommendations we had was go to Gibraltar.
Yep. They speak English there. They just hear the English language.
On the radio, see it in the menus, pick it up
Just talk to
and
people.
on the ambient noise in the background. Ultimately, I think Gibraltar, that was a great recommendation because it was such a culture shock when you got here.
Yeah.
You're out of your home, your comfort zone, and now you got this whole new life, this whole new focus, and it was a little stressful. And having that break and going to see our cousins from England
Just gave you like a breath of fresh air. Like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
We will survive.
Yeah. So let's talk about how to go camper vanning in Gibraltar now.
Okay. I don't remember what site you used, but basically I know Google Maps and satellite was our best friend.
It really was. We're still learning through the caravanning websites, or they still call it motorhomes, but how to go and get the information on where to stay and be local, or where to stay in local areas as you're traveling as a camper van.
But sometimes it's almost as helpful just to pull it up on satellite wherever you're going, and then you can look, and all of a sudden, boom, you can spot the camper vans.
You actually get an eye for on satellites
Yeah.
where you think most camper vanning kind of corrals might be. For us specifically, so Europe has been super friendly with caravanning, and you come in, as long as you don't look like you're an anarchist or anything crazy, you're not going to get hassled.
No.
You come in, you stay
We haven't
the
been bothered
night,
yet.
and they let you move on with your lives. It's fantastic. We really have enjoyed it because, frankly, we could not afford the hotels.
Yeah,
The
no.
food and the budget here is just it's a big boys game. You better bring
It
your
is.
wallet.
Absolutely. It's very challenging to try, especially as a family. If you're a couple, it's doable. But as you add each kid, it gets more and more expensive, and the hotel rooms are smaller, so you can't really accommodate for the bigger families. So for sure, camper vanning, I think we just hit it out of the ballpark by bringing the camper van.
So what I would tell you guys is, because I don't speak, fluent Spanish, French, Italian, I just go to the English websites, the RV forums that they have there, and they'll talk about, hey, where do you go camp? And that's been pretty helpful so far, but Google has been the best for our Gibraltar trip where we stayed. I'll link down below 2 GPS coordinates so you can pull them up and look them up on Google Map. What we ended up doing is we stayed on a beach, which was free for campers. And
did we find that beach before? We just passed it, and we were like, let's stop, right?
We literally passed it,
Yeah.
because there was a whole strew of camper vans just all pointed, facing the beach.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, let's
stop. There's a beach and water and camper vans.
That was our crowd.
It was really neat because B and I were able to find some sea glass, which was like the first time we've ever seen it, and we were just flabbergasted by how cool it was.
Well, I didn't know because we didn't see it back in the States either. And
That's what's so weird though is I there's like Instagram followers that they find sea glass in Florida, and I'm like, how did I not know about this? I lived there for like 4 years.
I just maybe we never paid attention to it because all the sea glass we found was just broken beer bottles back in the States.
Maybe thanks spring break.
Yeah, so but I remember he came up to us, so B comes running up to us and is like,
Daddy, hold these. Look, are these diamonds or emeralds?
I think they're just clear rocks. Look what I found, and we were like, what is that? And he's like, it's a gem, and we're like, no, we don't know what that is. It's probably just some glass, and he takes it and just throws it on the ground. I was just like, well, maybe it is valuable, and we started Googling it, and next thing you know, we are avid sea glass collectors.
Absolutely.
Next day, we ended up staying at a traditional parking for Gibraltar for caravans.
Parking lot, right? I mean, because really normal cars can park there too.
Yeah.
But they do allow overnight parking. And I mean, that still was another, to me, an awesome experience because you parked in a parking lot, but it was at the Marina.
Yep.
Right there on the water, minutes away from Gibraltar. Yeah. I mean, everything was clean. Everybody, it was quiet. Like, I enjoyed it.
Well, and then we later found out why. It was literally right outside the gate of Gibraltar because to take a caravan into Gibraltar is like a big no-no. You can do it. You can just go right through and drive around the city and everything. Don't recommend it because like Europe has small streets, but Gibraltar is hard up on space. So their streets are even smaller than I would say most of Europe that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
But you have
this was as close as you could get essentially
to
Gibraltar, to customs.
And camping's out of the question on Gibraltar. I talked to the locals. They said no, you cannot just go in and park. You will get towed or confiscated because parking is such a premium. They don't allow you to stay overnight, so you have to have like a license and some kind of registration or tag or sticker on your car to prove you're a resident to stay there overnight. Otherwise, you're out.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it about campervanning.
Yeah.
How much did the second place cost us?
It was pricey. I think it was for a 24-hour period. It was over 20 euros.
Yeah. So I mean, you think about back in the States, a state park is $20-25, and you get probably full hookup and just all of those amenities. So to park in a parking lot and pay over 20 was a bit steep, but to be that close to Gibraltar was awesome. So, and then we had the beach, which was free. So it kind of evened out. So I think that's about it as far as the camper van specific.
Yeah, I would say just a plug. That was really stressful for us because that was our first time camping and trying to find those locations. But it was a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of RV brothers parked there next to us.
Yeah. Absolutely. So as far as the family travel side of things, we kind of went into why we chose Gibraltar. We kind of just wanted that break back to, English speaking and food that we recognized and just different stuff like that. It's only a few hours from where we live, so
which is Sevilla, Spain. If you haven't seen our hometown, I'll link it at the video at the end or down below so you guys can see where we live right now.
Yeah, so it wasn't far from home, so it was a quick enough trip, and we knew we would be near civilization to get anything that we needed if all of a sudden we got there and we're like, oh my gosh, we need such and such for sleeping tonight, because it was the first time. So, it was kind of a learning experience for us. We kind of only went there with the one goal, which was to do the taxi up to the Rock and back.
Yeah.
And then we kind of wanted to walk around town, and we felt like that was like good enough.
Yeah. So over a course of 2 or 3 days, this was our first time crossing into a border of cross countries inside the European Union. I really stressed over nothing. I'm not trying to knock on the lax security between two countries, but I guess just being there was more tension between the Spanish and the English just because of historic reasons than there was anything. But just going in from one country to the other, like butter.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy.
We showed up into Gibraltar, and it was like, hello, tourism central.
Man, did you not feel like they were just like...
I was like almost at an English Disney World. It was crazy.
It was like you could not even make it out of the
out of the building.
It was the border or whatever the building's called, processing, and then it was like, here's a sign, pick a menu, and do all this other stuff.
Thankfully, we had done a little bit of research and talked to some people, and they had recommended absolutely taking the taxi, which is one of those the groups that are there going, hey, you know.
As soon as you walk through.
Yes. And so we knew right away that's what we wanted to do.
If you're not quick and committing to it, the taxi drivers they're in a rush. They want to get as many people through. So if somebody's like haggling with them, they'll brush you off and move on to the next guy who's coming through.
So we got to see the monkeys, got to see the tunnels, the caves.
Yep. There was also the Moorish Castle and the lighthouse. Those are like the big 5.
Yeah.
To go and see on Gibraltar.
And so those are all included.
But I would say the big 6 would be Heather getting to eat English-ish food.
So we hopped right to, got a taxi.
Yeah.
The one thing that nobody told us about, and we were really lucky to be ready for, was they only accept euros.
Oh, cash. Oh no!
Yeah,
specifically cash. You know, don't bring the.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 240 euros.
Yeah.
And so between our two families, we were scrounging trying to figure out if we had enough.
Yeah. So.
So that's huge. Something to absolutely take in mind and make sure that you bring enough.
Which was hard because Gibraltar is just one more currency now. So you had the pounds, the euro, and the dollars, and we were trying to make it all work without being, just raked over the coals for the exchange fees. But we did end up we did pay in euros.
Yep.
I forgot about that. That was stressful.
Yeah. But it was great. I mean, the taxi driver offered his own historical, background, which was great because I don't think we would have learned all of that. I mean, just even from stop to stop, him driving us around gave us a lot of insight on the background of Gibraltar.
So if we're in England now, why are you driving on the right side of the road?
Wow, extra points.
We are the exception that makes a rule. There has to be an exception. But the reason was, in 1929, they changed the way of driving to avoid confusion and accidents.
Our first stop was the Pillars of Hercules.
Yeah.
Heather's, we're waiting to get tickets to get in the reserve. This is the first view you get of Africa. What's up?
He's going down there.
Okay.
Wow. So cool.
We got to see Africa from there, which was really cool.
It was just as you enter into the national park, which is another reason why we suggest you get a taxi, because
all of that's covered, all the interest fees.
They were all covered,
and they already pay them, so you just go.
And I don't think you can take a personal car into the park. I think
you can walk.
Like you had to either be a bus, a taxi, or one of these official vehicles to get in through there.
Yeah.
So
but that was a quick stop.
Yeah, and it was just like an Overlook, and you could see the Pillars of Hercules are the believed area of where the world used to end during Greek mythology time frames, and so as you exit the Mediterranean and into the ocean, it was Gibraltar on your right, and then the mountain over in Morocco, I can't remember what it's called, like Tarifa or something like that, and those two sat there, and they were referred to as the Pillars of Hercules.
Yeah.
And so we sat on one pillar, and we could see the other one, which was in Africa on the other side.
Yeah.
That was just awesome.
It was. It was really neat. We've never seen Africa or been to Africa, so that was kind of another experience that was really neat to finally see.
Stay tuned.
Right. It's on our list. So it's helpful when you have the taxi because you're not walking, and then you're not having to stop and pay all of these little fees. Yeah. And then you have the history.
Which I liked. So I was able to jump out with her and the kiddo and go see the Pillars of Hercules in Morocco, and then the port, which is insanely busy, while the guy, the taxi driver, As part of the included price of the taxi, he went to the office. He bought the tickets. He got in line. He got the car ready.
Yeah, turned back around, ready to go. Where'd we go next?
Was
it the cave?
Yeah, the next was the cave.
That was really cool.
And this is called St. Michael's Cave, I believe.
Yes. The cave was really neat. It had a lot of cool lighting.
It did.
Which I think was cool. However, I kind of like the natural.
That's where I was going to go with this. Yeah, it was... They had taken this cave, this beautiful piece of history and natural, I guess, phenomenon, and then they kind of just commercialized it.
Which I guess the colors kind of helps you get the depth of it all.
Oh, it's awesome to see that.
You know,
and I bet
it's a little fake.
One of the nice things about most caves you can go into, like if you guys want to go do this, it's not claustrophobic. It's wide open.
The ceiling is so high.
You can walk in through a normal staircase. There's no elevators or anything. It's not pitch black.
Yeah.
And it's this big,
good
wide,
airflow.
open area, and they used it for
some kind of concerts or shows or something.
Yeah,
it had a big area in it.
I bet the acoustics there were probably phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. After St. Michael's Cave, we headed up to the top of Gibraltar, which was phenomenal.
What should you tell people about Rock of Gibraltar?
Don't bring food and keep everything put away.
Is there a monkey infestation?
Yeah.
What do you think of these monkeys, buddy?
Yeah.
They're yeah?
That was our first experience with monkeys.
Yeah.
We were told to wear our book bags on the front side, to not eat anything, not even show them that we have food because they'll see the kids, and where there's kids, there's snacks. And so they'll already know that we have food even though we hid it.
Yeah.
So we were a little stressed. We were worried they were going to take our phones, our cameras, all sorts of things.
And I don't really like monkeys. Like they go on. They go on.
You can't read them, right?
They go on the cat. No, I don't know what it is. It's probably a childhood issue because like monkeys and clowns, I've always been like, I don't trust
That's
you guys.
for another video, guys.
Yeah, that's more therapy. You're not getting paid enough for that.
So the monkeys weren't that bad. I mean, we didn't have any aggressive ones. None of them came up to us.
Right.
None of them tried to grab anything. We weren't sitting there eating with a bag of chips open or anything. No. But I mean, we were taking pictures of them. We were getting fairly close to them.
Excuse me.
And it was fine.
The monkeys don't like bananas. They prefer apples.
Yes.
This is true.
That's right. But don't bring them apples because then you'll get a herd of monkeys over near you.
And there's a lot of warnings that they're super aggressive.
Yeah.
But they've become such a marquee of Gibraltar now that they're not going to get rid of the monkeys. They're there to stay because they came from Africa originally.
And if you leave them be, they'll leave you be, and you can get some neat pictures and all of that.
They're cute too.
They
My
are.
mom saw some with a baby on her back.
That's right.
That's subjective.
That was kind of where I guess the majority of the monkeys were. The road was so thin or so narrow.
Yeah, I figured this was coming.
That I mean, they drop you off at the beginning and they kind of walk along with you as you see the sights.
Now at the top, like you were saying, there was 3 ways to get there.
Yeah. You can take a taxi or a bus.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk, which looked intense. Or you could take a cable car.
Yep.
Right? Cable car, is that what they're called?
Yeah, cable car.
Yeah.
Or there was another gondola. That's another word, gondola.
You think? I thought gondolas were open air.
I don't know.
Tell us the difference below.
Are you talking about a gondola? It's a boat.
Oh.
We went to the siege tunnels.
Right.
So our taxi driver recommended that we don't go all the way in. He told us to go like a quarter of a mile.
Yeah,
maybe.
they said go maybe like 200-300 meters.
Yeah, he said it would take way too long to do it, and we're such good listeners that we went all the way down.
So what you need to know about these tunnels is they only take you to like one portion of it.
They do, and there's so much more there.
There's like
so
miles.
Look and see whatever
I
you
can't
want.
remember what it was. It was something crazy, like 20 or 30 miles of tunnels inside this rock.
Yeah.
That I mean,
Which we didn't get to see all those.
Right.
The tunnels that they let you go in is like 3/4 of a mile down, 3/4 of a mile back. But the taxi drivers are trying to make a living. You know, everybody's respectful of that, trying to get in and get out.
Yep.
So they can get the next group started.
Yep.
But at the same time, we wanted to keep in mind that we did spend a lot of money on this tour and we want to learn as much as we can. So we decided to not listen and go all the way to the end of the tunnel. And so on day 2, since we didn't take the taxi in, we got to walk across the runway, which was super neat.
How long do you think they give to where they cut it off? Like, do you think they like do this so often that it's common, or do you think they, super safe, stop everything like 15 minutes before?
This is so cool to come up to a runway. I mean, this is something you don't get to do anywhere. And we were so excited to go walk across this runway.
Yeah.
But we also found out there's an active military base that the British own on one side of the runway, and then there's a commercial on the other side of the runway, and they are not kidding.
No.
That you are not allowed to dilly daddle. It is look at the runway and go. You don't get to if you
do
stop,
not stop walking.
If you stop,
smile for your picture
yeah,
as you walk.
take a picture while you're walking or a video. And we saw guys on bikes and they patrol it. They have all these big angry signs that say dogs, wires, cameras, lethal force. It was neat, but at the same time kind of like, all right, well, we'll just take our pictures and move on.
I think we're still adapting. We are still adapting to is the European meal mentality.
Oh, yeah.
They're very laid back, and we assumed, I think, that the fact that we weren't in Spain anymore, we thought it was more of a Spanish thing.
Right.
But it's still a very European thing, where it will take 3 hours to eat dinner.
But you do get your food at what we call here in Spain the gringo hours.
Yes, yeah. I mean, because it's in Spain, if you're not near the tourist areas, they're just closed, and dinner doesn't start until 7 or 8 p.m.
Right.
And the busy time is like 10 p.m. But being in Gibraltar, you're around tourism, and so we were able to eat at like 5 or 6 when we want to.
Yep.
But it's gonna take. I mean, I think we were there for at least 2 hours, and that was fast.
They seat you quickly.
Yeah.
They take your order quickly, but I think it's just a cultural piece.
Yeah, it is.
The people there socialize. They sit. They get a drink, a beer or two, and they smoke, and then they talk, and then the food will finally show up. They'll eat really mildly, and they're like birds,
and
I guess.
And they'll have dessert.
And then they'll have dessert, and they'll drink some more, and then they sit there. I mean, this is the culture.
And it's wild because their children just sit there too, or they go and play.
Yeah, well, most of them are inside these what they call like plazas or piazzas, and so the kids are kind of just free range.
Yeah,
if you will.
But I feel like they do, and I guess they should because they've been brought up in this culture, but they do a better job of being more patient with dinner, whereas our American children are just like, it's 8 p.m. We've been here for an hour. We haven't eaten. We're not leaving. All of those things. So that was very interesting. So for our trips and souvenirs, we kind of vary in how we do them. Just because some places we go to, they're not very touristy. But for Gibraltar in particular, we let B pick out his souvenir that he wanted. And
What we got today?
Guess what I got today? On thing, I got a what is it called?
bus.
A bus and what is it? a bus, and what was it called? What was it? It was a souvenir. A bus, a toy bus as a souvenir. It's not just a toy bus. It can be a toy bus, and the same, it can be a pencil sharpener. There's a pencil sharpener hole.
But Daddy didn't know that even.
Nah. You didn't know that, didn't you?
But it was so fun to see him rationalize why he needed the souvenir, because not only could it be a toy car, but it could also double as a pencil sharpener.
Exactly.
Buddy, this is your money. What you guys want? I mean, of the souvenirs that I think he was going to pull from these, I was more than happy with what he chose.
Yeah. After that, we pretty much headed back to the camper van and headed out the next morning. But it was such a great trip. I think it was exactly what we needed.
We spent 2 nights and roughly 3 days. So
yeah, it was the perfect trial. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. We got to work some kinks out in the van. It got us motivated to get out and see some more stuff.
Yeah, we can't wait to continue moving on with what else there is now.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for next week's video. You'll find out where we go next.
So thanks again for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. And we will see you guys next week. Once a week is what our goal is every Sunday.
Yep. Have a good week.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Everything is cool when you're